Hello BookTube, this is Kelly. Thank you so much for watching Books I'm Not Reading. I am here today with a Victober review, and I will list the hosts of Victober down below. I think all of you are probably very familiar with them, but I will include their channels down below. And I normally don't go with the prompts for these sort of monthly celebrations, but I know this year one of the things was to try to make a video in which you wear something Victorian, and I realized I don't really have anything like that. I could do Regency, but I can't really do anything Victorian. I have seen people wearing shawls, so I've got this big long drapey shawl on down in the basement, so that's, I guess, the best that I could do as far as that. But I am here today to talk to you about Charles Dickens' last book, which is called The Mystery of Edwin Drood. Now, before I begin talking about Dickens, I want to talk to you about books without endings. And I would love to hear from any of you if you've read a book without an ending and didn't know it, or did know it, and how that changed the experience for you. Because prior to reading Edwin Drood, a couple years ago, I read Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. And I already loved North and South by Gaskell, so I didn't read any of the flaps or what was on the back of the book, nothing. I just dove into that sizable novel. And then I get to the end and realize Elizabeth Gaskell died while writing Wives and Daughters. And I think she left enough notes or talked to someone. I know you guys will know the details more than I do. But someone sort of finished the book for her. And it seemed like she was pretty close to the end anyway, right? But I didn't know. I didn't know that. And so when you read an unfinished book and you don't know that it's unfinished, it's almost like you're jumping into what you think is a hot tub and it turns out to be full of ice cold water. That was my reaction to Wives and Daughters, and because I didn't know it. However, going into The Mystery of Edwin Drood, I did know that Dickens died while writing it. Now, in a previous video, which I will go and leave a comment and pin it, I said Wilkie Collins finished the book for him, because I don't know why I don't know where I heard that or why I thought that, but I did. I did think that. And there were alternative endings and continue to be alternative endings to The Mystery of Edwin Drood. But, and Wilkie Collins was loosely associated with one of those endings. Jo Smith, who actually Buddy read this book with, she had some alternative endings included with her edition, so if she has anything really profound to say about those, Jo, please leave a comment down below about that part of your edition, because none of it is included in my edition. So even though it's like, okay, Dickens didn't write the whole thing. And I kept waiting and wondering, like, is there going to be like a break that says, like, from here on out it's Wilkie Collins or someone else, whatever the case may be. But no, it just stops. It just ends. And I've done a little bit of reading about this book, and so Dickens planned for 12 installments, and he was able to publish 6 of those installments. So this is really half of what The Mystery of Edwin Drood might have been. And don't get me wrong, I don't regret reading this book. I love Dickens, and Oh, and I do wonder why some of you don't. So if you're watching this by some chance, I don't know why you would watch a Dickens video if you don't like Dickens, but I'd like to hear why people don't like Dickens, because it's fascinating to me. Anyway, so the book is about a younger uncle. His name is John Jasper, and his nephew is Edwin Drood. And they seem to have this really close friendship, but there's kind of some creepiness about Mr. Jasper, just the way he's described. And one night he decides to go and hang out with the stonemason and asks to see the crypt, which I thought was a great chapter. There's so many great characters in this book, and I guess the thing that is interesting about this book is to imagine what Dickens might have done if he had lived to finish publishing this book. He was working on it in 1870, and it was supposed to be completed. All the installments were to have been published by 1871. So he left no notes, and that's why all the other endings are not considered. And who writes like Dickens, right? So the other endings are, one of them is considered like a farce. I think the first 3 endings that were written for this book were written by Americans. But he left nothing behind really about what he was planning on doing. He did write a letter to someone kind of indicating who the villain might be. And I think if you read this, you'll probably figure it out. But there are some great characters in here. There's a set of twin orphans, Neville and Helena Landless. And Helena just really, I just was so excited to see what Dickens was going to do with her. And unfortunately, that didn't happen because the book, again, it falls off like a cliff. Like you're going along, and then whew, like it's over. Like there's no more. Another character that I really enjoyed in this book, and I think he was shaping up to be kind of the hero. His name is he's Reverend Septimus, I think I'm saying that right, Septimus Crisparkle. And he is just fantastic. He gets up in the morning and he does these boxing exercises before anyone can see him. And he lives with his mother, and he pretends that her eyesight is better than his, and so he is always asking her to read things for him and that sort of stuff. And even the mother's a great character, once she makes up her mind that Neville is not a good egg, so to speak. She's pretty determined about that. But there's just really some beautiful scenes and imagery. I will say, closer to the end, I felt differently about one particular character, but at the beginning of the book, there is a character who Edwin's engaged to marry a young lady whose parents are dead. I think both Edwin and his fiance are orphans as well, and but their parents had left some kind of, something in their will saying they'd love for them to get married, that sort of thing. And her name is Rosebud. Edwin calls her Pussy, which I won't say anything else about that. That was some painful reading there. And of course her nickname at this girls' school that she's at is Rosebud. But she was just obnoxious and annoying and just just seemed, I just did not like her at all. And over the course of the first half of what would have been the Mystery of Edwin Drood, she really, I think, emerges as a stronger character and more developed, and you start to like her a little bit better. Initially, I did not like her at all. The other character that really suffers, I guess, for lack of a better word, in this book is Edwin Drood. He's very flat and very two-dimensional, and just not, we just don't know very much about him at all. So, but his name is in the title, so that is significant. And I do wonder what Dickens would have done with him in the end if he had been able to publish all of this. So those are just a few thoughts about the Mystery of Edwin Drood. I really don't want to spoil anything for you in case you do decide to pick this up in the future. It is one of Dickens' shorter novels because, of course, it's only halfway done. But nonetheless, I think it's worth reading, and I think, we have only to be sad for the fact that Dickens didn't get to write the second half. But I thought it was things were finally, right as it's ending, things were finally getting really, really interesting, and the characters and the world were really coming together, because it takes place in a cathedral town called Cloisterham, which, for those of you who know anything about British geography, which I don't, I think is supposed to be based on Rochester. So this is the original title page with the cathedral there rising up, and I really liked that. And then I think this is the original cover design. So yeah, so it could have been great. It could have been really great, and it's unfortunate that, like I said, there's no ending to it. I still sort of fell off the cliff, even though I knew that he hadn't finished it. So, oh well. BookTube, thank you so much for watching. Please share with me what your thoughts are on this book if you've read it, or again, if you've had experiences of reading books with no endings. Remember to be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I will talk to you very soon, BookTube.